All right, Uncle Adam here with the Innkeeper. We got a special Super Bowl props edition for locks and bagels coming your way right now. All right, Ben, what do you want to take first in this little prop?
Yeah. I mean, it's been not a great gambling NFL season for me. It's usually one of my two best sports. You could go look at my Action Network history. Historically speaking, I'm okay with the NFL, and I've just gotten taken to the cleaners this year. So we are staying away from football with my first prop pick and going with the over 2 minutes and 5 seconds in Chris Stapleton's national anthem to start out the day.
Ooh,
I'm avoiding the coin flip just because, I mean, yes, this is also 50-50. Let's not get it twisted. It's at minus 110, but I took over 2 minutes and 5 seconds. It's only gone under 2 minutes 3 times in the last 10 years. I like those odds, especially when you throw in the fact that Stapleton's going to have a guitar on him. He's going to get some crazy guitar riff in there, and he's going to have some crazy vocal run.
all right.
I hate that I've done research into this, but I like the over 2 minutes and 5 seconds.
All right, that's a solid start. Yeah, I hate the coin flip one too. Yeah, it's like a true 50-50. So just for fun though, what would you take?
I would take heads. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
would take. Yeah, I'm a big heads guy.
fade the public. Fade the public when it comes to tails. That's how I feel with the coin flip. But
I know. I've seen a lot of tails though recently. We'll see. All right. Well, I'm going to take this one off the board then. Before you do, Travis Kelce anytime touchdown, minus 113. Seems like real good odds in the Kelce Bowl.
I mean, obviously he has the lowest odds for a reason. He is the best tight end in football. You could argue he's the best weapon in all of football, just the mismatches that he's able to create. I'm amazed it's not lower, to be completely honest. And I haven't touched the first touchdown scorer yet, but I would consider sprinkling it. And I do think that Kelce will be scoring a touchdown in this game, and that is a hammer cock block. I will be putting a large amount of money on that, I think. But a little cutesy play I have here is that I have the Chiefs to enter the red zone first at minus 108.
Ooh.
So I think that Jalen Hurts is going to be a little shaky in the first quarter. I think the nerves, I know we've seen him do it on the big stage at the college football level. This is a whole different level. There's going to be 100 million people watching. It's the biggest stage of them all in all of sports, in U.S. sports, I should say. I think experience is going to play a big role here. Both teams are top 5 first quarter scoring offenses, but I just like the Chiefs' experience level in the big game. And I mean, Patrick Mahomes is the best player on the planet. I like that a lot at minus 108, and it makes me like Kelce first time touchdown as well.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of it's going to ride on the Chiefs getting the ball first, but also if Philadelphia does, you think they're going to stumble out the gates a little bit?
I mean, it's hard to say that they will because of how they've looked in these postseason games, right? I mean, they've been in just this entire year. They've been a well-oiled machine, but I do think that the difference I know this team won a Super Bowl, what was it, 5 years ago? A lot of turnover there, though. Whole different team. And I think they're going to come out a little flat in the first quarter.
All right. All right. Well, I like the over in that game, so I hope they don't.
I also kind of like the over too.
We'll get on with that at the end here. But all right. Let's see. I'm a big anytime TD guy in this game. Really like the odds for AJ Brown getting the anytime TD. That's we're in the plus there. I think it's plus 113 I saw.
Yeah, I mean, if I was to make a play on this, I would agree that I think they're going to try and feed him the ball early and often, and rightfully so. He's a top 5 to 7 wide receiver in the NFL, and I think he's going to cause a lot of issues, a lot of headaches for the Chiefs in this game. A fun little play that you could kind of base off of the fact that, you know, the Chiefs don't necessarily have that big play threat that they do, but they don't have it to the level of Tyreek Hill where it was almost an automatic bet that the Chiefs would have the longest play of the game, right? They're going to try and stretch the field with AJ Brown here. So I think it could be potentially fun to, obviously bet AJ Brown to score a touchdown, but maybe sprinkle in a little bit of the Eagles to score the longest touchdown off of a bomb to AJ Brown, as we've seen it a lot this year.
Yeah, I think the game should be pretty tight, right? So yeah, longest play. I wonder how long it's even going to be.
I didn't look at that line, but if I remember correctly from last year's Super Bowl, it was 54 and a half, and it went under, if I remember correctly.
Ooh.
I could be wrong, but I feel like the number was 54 and a half and it went under. But it's going to be a high scoring affair, I think, despite, both these defenses have looked good in the playoffs. The Eagles have as good of a pass rush as you're going to see in the NFL right now. But these offenses are just operating at such a different level that it's going to end up being a track meet, I think. And for that reason, it kind of gets me into my next pick here. This is a juicy anytime touchdown score, but I have Kenneth Gainwell plus 330 anytime touchdown. Hear me out. 35% of Gainwell's touches this year have came through the air, right? Both Miles Sanders and Boston Scott are sitting at about 9 to 10% of their touches coming through the air. In a game where you're going to have to keep up, you're going to have to keep your pass catching back in the game. And the Chiefs have allowed the third most yards and targets to running backs in the entire NFL this year. I just like looking at it from a numbers perspective. I see a lot of value there at plus 330.
All right. Yeah, it's like a three-headed monster backfield all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
So it's risky, but
it is risky. And the plus 330, obviously, it's not a play that I'm confident in. Let's. I don't want to seem confident in it, but just from a pure number standpoint and the way that I see this game kind of going, I see it that Gainwell is going to have the most snaps of any running back on this roster.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to disagree there. I see that, or foresee that what there's just, I don't know. I feel like they're not gonna rely on those guys as much as they have been throughout the season and in the playoffs, just because of what's at stake with the Super Bowl.
No, it's valid. I don't necessarily expect you to agree with a plus 330 anytime touchdown score. I kind of talked about it with a few of my buddies today and kind of got the same response, but it's a play I like, and I'll.
No, yeah, you got to have some good juice somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you. The juice is too good to pass up. With that said, too, I'm on one of the worst cold streaks of my life right now, too, just for the record. And if I'm thinking something, the opposite's probably going to happen. All right. If we're going to get a little weird with props in the middle of this here, there was one that stood out to me that looked real intriguing. I couldn't find what the juice was on it, but this is a Patrick Mahomes over 3.5 yards on his first rushing attempt.
That's weird, but I like it.
It's weird, but the more you think about it, maybe he's gonna test that ankle or prove that his ankle's fine, type of thing, with just bust off a nice little 7-yarder or something like that.
And I would have to look at the numbers. I don't know off the top of my head, but if I had to guess of just if there's a statistic out there for quarterbacks who've rushed for the most first downs this year, for just a first down conversion, right? I bet Mahomes is in the top 5. As dumb as that sounds, he can get you 10 yards, and I bet that number is even lower because of the uncertainty of his ankle. I don't know what it would ever look like before the ankle, what that number would look like, but 3.5.
I don't see him.
That number. I like that number.
I don't see him, falling victim to the QB sneak just because it doesn't seem like they're using him for that this year,
Mhm.
like maybe Jalen Hurts. Uh, yeah, and he seems to only rush with the ball when he's got a clear lane or
Mhm.
makes some magic happen. So that was one that stood out to me. I like it.
That's a play I'm gonna try and track down somewhere to sprinkle a little bit because I do like that play. So this is gonna be my last weird prop here. I have another one with a lot of juice at plus 300. This is even more of a sprinkle than Kenneth Gainwell to score a touchdown. Either team to miss a PAT attempt at plus
Ooh,
300. I understand that extra points been made at above a 90% clip. I believe this year sitting in the low 90s. Butker's missed 3, Elliott's missed 2. Historically speaking, kickers are like laughably bad in the Super Bowl. Just the pressure tends to get to them. And Jake Elliott also missed an extra point in his last Super Bowl he played in. I don't there's probably no correlation here whatsoever, but it's a fun little prop, I think, that, when you have no team you're really cheering for in this game, because I'll be honest, I could care less who wins this game. I really can. I'm just hoping it's an entertaining game. And Miss PATs always add to the drama and make the game a little bit more fun. So I'll incentivize myself to cheer for that a little bit here.
all right. Yeah, I mean the kickers have been awful, especially Brett Maher in the playoffs. So maybe some of that energy
We can
finds its
only
way in the
hope.
Super Bowl.
We can only hope.
All right, I'm torn between two props here. Uh, Jalen Hurts was my boy all season on fantasy. It's in the big Super Bowl. I like his anytime TD juice. Feel like he could easily get a little sneak on the 1 yard line at some point, or just find himself, a little end around rushing in the end zone. But probably that QB sneak on the goal line.
I mean, if I correct me if I'm wrong, I think Hertz has 13 rushing touchdowns this year, right around it's for sure
Yeah,
above 10. I think it's in that 12 to 15 range. And I mean, out of value alone, I
just in
honestly
12.
okay. So I I like that value more than Kelsey, just on value alone. And he's the centerpiece of that offense. The offense, you can say that about any quarterback, but truly, if he cannot get his legs moving and get the ground game going with his legs, proving that he can be a threat, it could end up being a long day for the Eagles.
Yeah, we're gonna find out shortly here.
Yeah, Sunday, it's coming up quick.
This is coming up quick.
So my last one I have written down here. It's a Gatorade pick, and
Okay.
this has a lot to do with the fact that I think the Chiefs are going to win this game. When the Chiefs won their Super Bowl a few years ago, they dumped orange on Andy Reid. Blue has been the color of the last 2 winners, and I got burned when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won their Super Bowl because, without giving any names away, there is a player who was on the Buccaneers from the south side of Chicago, near where I'm from. You can probably find out who he is just from that, but I haven't said any names. It apparently got out from him, spread throughout the entire neighborhood, that the Buccaneers were going to be having blue Gatorade at the Super Bowl. Well, it turns out they had clear. And I lost a shit ton of money on that. And I get what I deserve for putting a lot of money on a Gatorade prop. But when you have a player on the team through the grapevine telling you it's blue, no one's told me it's orange. But I feel more confident about this after seeing that they dumped Andy Reid with orange last time. And
Yeah, I saw
it
that picture too.
also feeds into the fact that I think the Chiefs are winning this game.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay.
I do think it's still the Chiefs game to lose, I think.
All right, yeah. We'll hold that thought. God, for some reason today the color blue came to me for the Gatorade. So it's funny, but oh God, if
Hey,
I had to
follow,
guess,
follow, following the trends.
I
Blue,
know, I know. It's just like, I mean, it's the best flavor. So
of course it is. I know that's what I would want to be drinking in a big game.
yeah. Um, Gosh, but I feel like I don't know. For some reason this year, I feel like it would be team colors. So if like the Chiefs win, it's gonna be
Red.
like red, fruit
Yeah.
punch, some bullshit. And if the Eagles win, it'll be like lemon lime or something.
I don't hate that. I don't hate the logic whatsoever. Maybe dump big red and some red Gatorade. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense.
All right. I can't do those types of props. So the last one that I really like, Travis Kelsey. Well, I've seen this at 6.5 or up to 8 receptions. Gosh, I just like, how does he not get
He's gonna get
9+ receptions in this game?
fed the ball early and often. And I mean, at that number, it's probably worth taking the juice to go potentially if there's the option of if it's set at 7.5, it might be worth taking the juice to do 8+, 9+, just maybe all the way up to 10, depending how you're feeling. He's gonna get fed the ball early and often.
Yeah, like who else is he gonna throw to? Not gonna be
And
Juju.
especially with, I mean, Juju hasn't done shit in the playoffs. You saw Valdez Scantling came on a little bit in the conference
Oh, yeah.
championship. Kadarius Toney really hasn't done anything either. And then Mecole Hardman officially on the IR.
Yeah.
I understand that Jerick McKinnon has been involved in the regular season passing game. He had 9 or 10 touchdowns through the air this year. He hasn't done shit through the air in the playoffs. I mean, it has been Kelsey and Kelsey alone. It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think that'd be a fun one. Just he's gonna get his targets. If they're not triple covering him, which God in that Bengals game, I don't know why they weren't.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
And two, you kind of have to add in just the fact I know they play different positions. He's going to want to upstage his brother's performance, and knowing that he's on that other sideline, he's going to try and ball out and do whatever he can to make sure his older brother does not win a Super Bowl against him.
Yeah, I'd probably be parlaying that with the anytime TD.
Get good value on that, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's nice
Speaking of
little,
Kadarius Toney, real quick, that's one I do like the juice for if I was gonna
I
for an
did,
anytime
I
TD.
I have looked at it because I mean, not that I see this happening, but he is a kick and punt returner for them. So you have the extra touches there where he could rip one off, potentially score one that way. I mean, they've gotten him involved. When he's been healthy, he's been pretty heavily involved. He just hasn't been
Yeah,
able
you said the key word right there, that is health.
exactly. He just hasn't been able to stay healthy. So if he I haven't really looked at his injury reports for practice this week, but that is one that I tend to sprinkle whenever I know he's healthy.
Oh yeah, the dude has a nose for the end zone.
Oh yeah, and that's the type of guy who has that breakout type of performance on the big stage like that. I mean, he was first round pick for a reason. Has all the talent in the world, just hasn't been able to stay healthy.
Yeah, it's just so risky too. It's like they'll have one play designed for him to get to the house, and it's either he'll get to the house or maybe there'll be a flag on the play and that's it, or he gets injured again, or I don't know. But it's real risky, but that'd be a fun one.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. So obviously, I mean, all over the place with these props.
Yeah. What's one that I have one that I absolutely hate.
There's one that I was kind of I did not like. I saw a lot of people floating out Dallas Goedert as an anytime touchdown scorer at I think it was plus 180. And I don't like it just looking at stats that tight ends have put up against the Chiefs this year. And tight ends have not performed well the last 2 years against the Chiefs. Goddard's very good, but when you throw in the fact that when you get into the red zone, you're going to have AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, you're going to have Boston Scott, Miles Sanders, Kenneth Gainwell, Jalen Hurts. I legitimately think when you get into the red zone like that,
Yeah.
maybe your fifth option. And he's not someone who's going to rip off a big play either. And I get there's some juice behind that, but I've seen a lot of people throwing that play around, and I'm not a fan based on the matchup.
Okay. It wouldn't shock me if both tight ends are anytime TD scores in this game. And Goddard just looks electrifying at times during the
Oh,
playoffs.
He does.
But I kind of hear you. Like, I feel like they're just going to be getting a lot of rushing touchdowns on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have a chance to break like most rushing touchdown record too.
That would be an interesting prop if it's out there.
Yeah, we got to look into that one. The one I hate, Devonta Smith, my boy, over 61.5 reception yards.
Ooh.
It's just, I don't know, that he's my boy. Like, I think, I don't know. I see a young Jerry Rice when I look at Devonta Smith.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know. With Jalen Hurts, there's just something like he's there for, I probably like his reception total more than I like his yards total.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
sure bet, but it's the locks, if you will. But I think there's a lot. It's too risky. Like, could be penalties. That one catch he had wasn't really a catch in the last game.
Yeah. I mean, we have seen them try and get him to kind of stretch the field the last few games, I feel like too. So, it could just be one big play that could screw you over in that. But
But at the same time,
I do like your logic there, though. I get your logic because I do see them trying to stretch the field with AJ Brown here and just using Devontae Smith as that security blanket.
Yeah, at the same time, though, it could be him getting your longest play of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I don't like that one.
Okay. Well, we'll have to. It's gonna be interesting. Obviously, there's a lot of value on the board for the Super Bowl. It probably won't end up going very well for myself personally, based on the numbers here, but I'm looking forward to watching and suffering through it.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait. Yeah. So what were our little wagers? Who gets the most correct out of our props here?
Yeah, we'll do that. All
right, man. Well, it's been a pleasure.
As always, hopefully this leads into a little bit of a heater for the Goonery.
Yeah, we're definitely way overdue for a heater.